So this is the first question we have from quadratic equations and inequations. You have been provided with an equation, a quadratic equation, and alpha, beta are the two roots. You are supposed to find out the value of alpha to the power 15 plus beta to the power 15. As you can see the four options, you can use the chat box and just comment the option, or you can just write the answer as well. Just try this out on your own. You already know how to find out the roots and then just compute alpha to the power 15 plus beta to the power 15. Okay. If you need any help with the formulas and all, you can always access your book or just ask me if you're stuck anywhere. Just try this one out on your own and yeah. Whenever you are trying these problems on your own, make sure you just stick to the try and stick to the time frame, because you know how many questions you have to answer in those 3 hours and all. So yeah, I already have an answer from Yash. All right, let's wait and see what other people are saying. Okay. Some basic things you already know. You know how to find out the roots and then just compute the rest. Just try and see some other answers so that we can see how the solution will go. Aditya also says it's option one. All right. So other people also keep on trying. Okay. So far I've got 3 answers. All of you are saying option one. All right. So can you just quickly tell me in the chat box what method you have used for finding out alpha to the power 15 and beta to the power 15? Deboshmita also says it's one. Okay. Yes, you first found out alpha plus beta square. All right, we'll see some other methods. Is there anyone who used a different? Okay, then you took to the power 7. Fair enough. Is there anyone who has used anything else for finding out the answer? Okay. All right, let's just see the solution. Okay. So this is the quadratic equation you have been provided with, right? Okay. Mahek, you are saying that de Moivre's theorem. Okay. Okay. Actually, I have used that method here. So let's just see how you can work this out. All right. So I'm sure this is the first portion that you have already, figured out the value of alpha and beta. So what you have done here is find out the value of the roots. Now you're supposed to find out alpha to the power 15 plus beta to the power 15. So this is how it will look like. Now you can use different methods. So some of you have said that you have found out alpha square plus beta square and then took, to the power 7, etc. Or you can simply use the binomial theorem. But here I'm using the concept of complex numbers. Let's just see how we can do this one. Okay. So this is something we have done here. Just express the complex number in its polar form. You already know how to find out the modulus and the argument, and you can understand how you can find out the polar form. Okay. So then to the power 15. So this is what we have done here. Root 2 whole to the power 15 and then taken the rest of the things in the bracket. As you know, what is e to the power I theta? It is cos theta plus I sine theta. That's how you represent it. So if you take e to the power I theta and e to the power minus I theta, the I sine theta terms will get cancelled and you will be left with only the cos part. I think the rest will be pretty simple, as you can just calculate what cos 45 pi by 4 will be. Now, as I have seen you people using different method, I will ask you to use this method, especially when complex numbers are involved in roots. Okay, so this method will actually help you out to understand how we can work this out even for higher powers. Because whatever alpha square, beta square, whatever you are taking, just raising it to seventh power or eighth power, things will be pretty difficult whenever you are approaching for higher powers. Okay, so this is a general method that we can use for complex number. It's a very tricky trick. It's a very good trick that we normally use. Just use the polar representation. I hope this is okay with all of you. So as you correctly pointed out, the answer is option 1. So if you have any problems, just let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll just move on to the next question. Okay, so this is one trick. Just make sure you understand how you can use the polar form and De Moivre's theorem or anything else that is they're supposed to do with e to the power I theta. Dealing with powers will be easier, especially if you have higher powers. Okay. So let's just move on to the next question then. So you have here a quadratic equation, and both the roots are real and distinct. Okay, and the roots will lie in the interval 1 5. So you have to find out this particular interval of m. Just try this one out. We use two things here. First of all, the roots are real and distinct, and also there's a restriction on the roots. They will lie in the interval 1 comma 5, like closed bracket 1 5. Okay. Okay, I already got an answer from Mahek. Mahek says it's 4 comma 5. All right. Let's just see some other answers. And there's one thing I would like to tell you people. You have actually known this, some of the roots or product of the roots, or how to find out the roots, etc. The perfect square method or the Sridharacharya method. I'm sure you're familiar with this. In your 7, 8, 9, 10, you have done a lot of these things. But especially in 11 and 12, what we focus on is the graphs, the equations, the position of the roots, or also the value of the quadratic expression, positive or negative, etc. Okay, so I'm getting okay. Aditya says we technically don't have to solve it at all. All right. Okay. Aditya, what have you used here? Like any intuitive thing or any just easier method? Okay. You use the options. Yeah, that is also all right. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, you can do that as well. You can always use the option, but here actually I'll tell you a general method, because sometimes if the options are a little critical and things are not very easier to deal with in terms of numbers, so we can see. Okay, I see a lot of answers, which is number 2. That's perfectly all right. So that's the correct answer. Okay, so let's just see how we can work this one out. I think it's going to be pretty easy, as you people have already figured it out from intuition or just by checking with the options. But I'll just tell you a general method. Sometimes, if you are checking with the options, it can be a little tedious or not always very useful to eliminate certain options. Okay, so let's just see. Yeah, you first of all you use that d is greater than 0. So, all right, this is one thing that you're going to get. Now, based on this one, sometimes you can just, just get rid of some options, etc. But otherwise, if the options are pretty close, you have to use one more thing, that is the roots lying between 1 and 5. You already know how these things are. First of all, this minus b by 2a will lie between these two numbers, and so you will get another inequality. This is a general method. If you have any problem with the general method, let me know. Otherwise, you can always just check the options, or if it's very intuitive, you can save a lot of time. And also this f of whatever numbers are there here, it's 1 and 5, it will have the same sign as a. So you can club these inequalities together to get the answers. Otherwise, the tricks that you people have used is absolutely fine. But here I've told you the general method, so that for sums where the options are pretty close, you don't get lost. Fair enough. The correct option is 2, as rightly pointed out by all of you. So I'll quickly move on to the next sum then. If you have any problem with this one, do use the chat box and let me know. Okay. So let's just go for question 3. This is also very easy. There's a quadratic equation and the roots are rational numbers. Okay. The roots are rational numbers. You already know how the roots are, and you will actually understand when there will be rational numbers. You have to find out the number of possible positive integral values. Now, this is very important. The values of alpha, they have to be positive and they have to be integers. Okay. Just try this one out and let me know. This is not very difficult. As you know, you can find out the roots, you can understand when they will be rational. It's very easy. Just do the calculations properly. I think these sums are, these kind of sums are pretty easy. If you don't mess up with the calculations, I think the 4 marks is absolutely guaranteed. Okay, Vansh says it's option 4. Okay. Ritaban is saying it's option 3. Okay, let's just see a few more things. All right. Okay, as in you will get okay. As in you will get 3 numbers. Okay. So if you're just writing down the options, okay, just use this first bracket thing. All right. Mahek, have you considered alpha equals to 0? So you are saying there are, this is option 2, which is actually 2. Let's just see other things. Nope. Okay. Okay. So you got 2 numbers, right? All right. I'll just reveal the answer so that you can see which one you have missed out on. So yeah. Labashmita says it's 4. All right. Okay, it's very simple. Now, this is very important. Yeah, probably you missed out on 5 or something. Just check. Okay, the discriminant must be a perfect square. As you know, if it's a perfect square, it will just come out of the entire thing, making it a rational number. So this is how the discriminant looks like. You can just check with positive integral values of alpha and see for 3, 4, and 5, you will get perfect square roots. I think so. All of you who said either 3 or option A or 1, so that's correct. So if anyone has missed out on certain things, like suppose someone has taken 0, so probably you have got 4 numbers, or missed out on anything, so you have got less than 3. So I hope now you understand where you went wrong. So great. So we'll move on to the next question then. All right. So if you have any problems, do let me know. Okay. So you have a triangle having sides 5, 5r, and 5r square. So then you have to find out, can alpha be 0? Yes, alpha cannot be 0 because it's supposed to have positive integral values. So we are not considering alpha equals to 0. As you see, 121 minus 24 alpha. 121 is a perfect square. So it's very natural that you take alpha equals to 0. So that is the first perfect square that will come to your mind. But unfortunately, we are only allowed positive integral values. Okay. So if you have understood this one, just write yes so that I know your query is over. Okay, just try this one out and yeah. Okay, great. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of answers saying it's option 3. All right. Aditya also says it's option 3. So have you guys used the inequations and found out the answers, or just by checking or cross checking? Because you can also do that, you can just check with the numbers, etc. Inequality you have used, great. Yeah, sum of two sides will be greater than the third side. Fair enough. That is the inequality. You can just start from the inequality and then work your way out toward the range of R that should be taken. Otherwise, you can also go for some other thing. Okay. All right. I think most of you have given the answers. Great. So I will just reveal the solution so that you can see what is going on. So as you know, whenever you are given three sides with which you are supposed to form the triangle, the sum of two sides will always be greater than the third side. So you just explore the inequality and see the range of R. And now you can clearly check with the options where R is not belonging to this particular interval. That's correctly pointed out by literally all of you. The correct option is option 3. So yeah, if you have any problem with this one, please let me know in the chat box. Okay. And I think most of you got this one right. So I think we'll just move on. It's a very simple thing that we have used here, something that you have learned in your class 7 or 8. So just inequality, and then you know how you can deal with quadratic inequations. Okay. So correct. It's actually option 3. So yeah, we'll move on to the next sum then. Question 5. Here you have been provided with a quadratic equation, and S is the set of all integral values of C for which one of the roots will lie in 0, 2 and the other will lie in 2, 3. Okay, so you have to find out the number of elements in S for all the possible integral values. Now, this is very important as you understand here. Previously, you were actually allowed positive integral values. Here, you are allowed all possible integral values. So, these are certain things that you really need to pick up from the question so that you don't miss out on important options. This is all integral. So, you have one root in 0, 2, another in 2, 3. So, just try this one out. This is pretty simple. uh, if you know how the conditions will be if the positions of the roots are in certain manner. So if you have forgotten these theory parts, do go ahead and revise them because these are very important. These kind of inequations, position of roots and graphs, and especially signs of quadratic expressions, these are very, very important for competitors. Okay, because I'm sure all of you know how to find out the roots, the sums, and products. But just take care of this one. If you have any doubts regarding the question, you can also ask. Try this one out so that we can move on to the solution. All right. Okay. Fair enough. So I'm getting a lot of answers saying it's 11, which is option 4. Great. Okay. I think I'll just wait for a couple of more answers so that we can move on. Great. Okay, let's just at least see the part of the solution I'm sure you have been, able to figure out. So this is the quadratic equation, right? Now this is very, very important. One root is lying between 2 and 3. Another root is lying between 0 and 2. So these are the inequalities you are having. Okay. If the quadratic equation is like something equals to 0, so fx is the one that we have considered in the left hand side. So the rest will be pretty simple as you will just go for two different inequalities. And whenever you have this and, you have to understand whatever you are getting in terms of the restriction in C. Both of these have to happen so that you understand which is the common portion. So this is going to be the common portion. Now C is having integral values. All right. So 49 by 4 is a little more than 12. So C will be allowed values from 13. And as you understand this, 24 is actually in open brackets. So we are not going to include 24. So these are the possible integral values. Okay. So you have actually the number of elements correctly pointed out by you. It's number 4, which is there are like 11 elements. Okay. So I hope this is clear with all of you. If you have any doubts, do let me know. Or if this is clear to you, just use the chat option and just say that it is clear so that I can move on, because these kind of problems are pretty regular in competitives. So the position of roots, I think. Okay, Mehak, I'll just go back to the question. Just a minute. Okay. I hope this is clear with you. When you are done seeing the question, do just use the chat box to write yes so that I know I can move on. Okay. All right. So I hope this is okay with all of you. See, dealing with these inequalities, I don't think it's going to be very tough. What you need to take care of is the theory part that you have here with the position of roots. Okay. So just go ahead and revise if you have forgotten because this is very, very crucial. So I think we'll move on to the next sum then. Okay. Now this is also very easy. So you have to find out the value of lambda such that there's this quadratic equation you have been provided with. The sum of the squares of the root will have the least value. So just try this one out and see how we can work this one. Okay, I have already got one answer. Okay, let's just see what other people are saying. This is not very difficult. Just find out the two roots, alpha and beta. Find out alpha squared plus beta squared and see how you can. Okay. Ishika, you are saying two, which is actually option four. Fair enough. All right. Let's see some more answer. Okay, option four. Great. Great. Okay. Siddharth also says that it's option four. Great. I'm sure you have figured out a part of the solution. So just let's reveal up to that portion. Okay. Naman is also saying it's option four. Great. So sum of the roots and product of the roots, I'm sure you people are familiar with this one. You have to find out alpha square plus beta square. So from whatever information you already have from alpha plus beta and alpha beta, you can figure out how alpha square plus beta square will look like, right? So just some simple algebraic manipulation. This is the expression you are getting in terms of alpha for lambda for alpha square plus beta square. This is how you can represent it. This is a very classic method. Okay. Or you can also go for some inequalities or maxima minima, anything that you want to. So for least value, lambda will be 2. So as correctly pointed out by you, it's option 4. So I hope this is clear with all of you. So I will just quickly move on to the next sum. Otherwise, if you have any problems, do let me know in the chat box. Okay. Chalo. Okay. So here you have a quadratic equation. So you have roots. One is the cube of the other. So you have to find out the value of k. Okay. One root is the cube of the other root, and you have to find out the value of k. So just try this one out and use the chat box to give your answer. Not very difficult. Just do the calculations properly. I think these are the kind of sums where you don't really want to miss out on the marks. So just good calculation. That's it. Nothing tricky from the theory part also, logical point of view. Okay, Ritaban is saying that it's option two. Okay, let's just see some other answers then. All right. Yash says it's option four. So one of you have definitely made a mistake. At least one of you, to be logically correct. At least one of you. So let's just see some more answers so that we can just proceed for the solution. Okay. The others also try this one out. I see some more answers. Okay. So, okay, option four. Option four. Fair enough. It's not very difficult. Just salmon product. Yes. So, okay. So I see a lot of answers saying option 4, which is minus 300. So just quickly go to the solution and see, because this is very easy. I don't think you will have much problem with this one. Okay. So one root is the cube of the other. This is something you have been provided with. Then you already know how the products of the roots will be. So from there, you can find out the value of beta. And so the value of alpha will also be there. Now, where is this k? K is involved in the sum of the roots. So that's what you take, the sum of the roots, which is equal to alpha plus beta. From there, you can easily solve for k. So I think all of you have figured it out correctly. Otherwise, even if don't make just a calculational mistake, there's nothing heavy on the theoretical or logical part. So the correct option, as pointed out by you people, is 4. So I'll just quickly move on to the next sum then. Great. So lambda is the ratio of the roots of the quadratic equation in x. You have been provided with the quadratic equation, and lambda is the ratio of the roots. Okay, so you have to find out the least value of m, for which lambda plus 1 by lambda is equals to 1. So just try this one out. This is again simple manipulations. You have the sum of the roots and product of the roots. Just manipulate this one and get the least value of m going. Okay. Try and answer this one. I think it just involves some very basic knowledge of sum and product of roots and maxima, minima, etc. Okay, I think I've already got my answer from Ishika. All right, all right. To see some more answers. Okay. Aditya says it's option 2, and Ishika is saying is option 2. All right. So now what happens is whenever you have this root 18, so it's 2 root 3, 3 root 2, whatever maybe. There's a calculation or mistake that you have made. Just check this one out if you want to change your answer. I'm sure you have found out where you made a mistake. So I think I have got quite a couple of answers from you people. So quickly just go to the solution because it's not very difficult, just simple calculations. Just be focused, that's it. So this is what you have. Simple. As you know, every time you have been provided with a relation or an equation, what you need to do is to transfer that in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha beta so that you can use the formula for sum and product. So this is what you have as alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So from there, you have this one. Okay. So you have two values. Obviously, the least value will be 4 minus root 18. So probably you got a little confused for evaluating root 18. Okay, that's it. So the correct option is option 2, as rightly pointed out by you people. Okay, I think we'll just move on then. All right. I hope this is clear with all of you. So I'll just move on. Okay. Number 9. I think this is a very good sum because normally we are talking about equations and their roots, etc. Here you have a quadratic expression. Okay. This expression is always positive. You have to find out the number of integral values of m. It's a very good sum. Just try and work this one out. Okay. Okay. I think I've already got one answer. Okay. Mehak says it's 7. Okay, let's just see some more answers. All right. Okay. All right. So other people, you just keep on calculating and trying. So I'll just reveal a part of the solution because it's very very important. As I have been saying that the signs of the quadratic expression or the position of the roots, etc. These are very important for competitors. As you know, if you have been given a quadratic expression which is entirely positive for all possible real values of r, then this a will be greater than 0. So from there you will have another, just m is greater than equals to minus half, and also this d is supposed to be less than 0. Okay, from there you will just get some portions. All right, so these are the possible integral values of m as correctly pointed out by you people. The answer is 7. So the right option is option 3. Okay, as we do this kind of sums, just go ahead and revise what you have learned for position of roots and just the signs of quadratic expressions, because they're a little tricky. There are different types of cases all over, different conditions, and also you can relate them to graph and coordinate geometry. So if you want to complicate the things, it will get complicated. So just get your basics right. All right, so is this okay with all of you? Just write yes so that I know I can move on, because this is a little different from what you have been doing so far with the sums and the products, etc. Okay, just use the chat box and write if you have any problems, or if you don't have any problems, just write that this is clear so that I can move on. All right. Okay. So the correct option is 3. So these are the conditions. You just make sure you revise these ones. All right. So question 10. Again, you have a quadratic equation and you have two roots alpha and beta. You have to find out the least value of n for which alpha by beta whole to the power n is equals to 1. Okay, just try this one out. Not very difficult. You can easily find out what alpha and beta will be. So alpha by beta whole to the power n is 1. So even if you get up to a certain portion of alpha by beta, I'm sure you can check with the options. So I'm going to use a general method so that you can find out what you can do for different things. All right. Okay. Okay. So I think I have got two answers, option 3 and option 1. Fair enough. So at least one of you have made a mistake. Let's see. Just keep on trying. Now, this is a little tricky because there's a chance that you can go wrong with alpha and beta. So that is what I'm going to reveal in the solution. Otherwise, what you have written as option 3 or option 1, okay. So let's just see some more answers so that I can reveal the answer, okay. So option 3 and option 1. All right. Let me just wait for a few more answers so that I can move on to the solution. How do we know? How do we know what? Which will be alpha? Yeah, this is something I'm going to actually tell you. You know, alpha and beta, yes. This is something I'm going to tell you actually in the solution. So, you know, where you can get confused between two options. All right. Okay, I think we'll just move on to the solution then. I'm sure you have to figure, you have just figured out up to this portion, this alpha by beta. Suppose this alpha is 1 minus I and beta is this one. You get minus I as the answer. And here you get I as the answer. Okay. So I hope you understand what I'm talking about. The point is, this is actually plus minus I. Okay. If alpha is none of them, alpha is minus I. If alpha is minus I, none of them. See, alpha is not minus I. It can be either 1 minus I or 1 plus I. So what are the possible option? Okay, alpha is 1 minus I, beta is 1 plus I. So I hope this is clear. Okay. So this is the one we have figured out. So alpha beta is more of like plus minus I. Okay. N will be least if 1 minus I. So alpha by beta to the power n is 1. So as you understand that n must be a multiple of 4 because how we take the fourth root of unity as plus minus I. So the least value will be 4. Is this okay with all of you? If you have any doubts, do let me know. So the correct option is 3. If you have any doubts in this one, do let me know. I really don't understand the questions you have asked. If alpha is minus I, none of them. Okay. N will be least if alpha is 1 minus I. Okay, okay. So if this question is clear to you, just sure. Okay. Okay, Ritaban, the point is the ratio, if the ratio is minus I, then you will get I square. Okay. If you just square it out, you will get I square, which is minus 1. Then again, you square it. So if you just raise it to the just like to the power 4, then you will get 1. That is why this 4 is very important. Okay, I hope you understand this. If you don't, just tell me if you have any problems. I hope you have understood what I tried to tell you. If minus I you are taking, you have to raise it to the power 4. Okay, that is why the correct option is 4. Then the options don't satisfy. Are you okay with the answer? Just take minus I so that you can get, suppose you are just raising it to, just you are squaring it. So it doesn't really matter if it's plus or minus I, right? Yeah, absolutely. So basically what you have is, first of all, when you just raise it to the power 2, so it will be minus 1, then again you will just get 1. But just to be sure, okay, since we know the fourth root of unity is plus minus 1 plus minus I, that's why we just took this method. I hope this is all right with all of you. Okay. So let's move on to the, I hope you're, yeah, it's clear. Okay. So you have been provided here with an equation. So you have to find out the sum of the solutions of this equation. So just possible solutions that you can get. You have this mod and root and all these things. So yeah, you just try and answer this one. You have to find out the sum of the solutions of this equation. And for the previous problem, I just want to tell you people always consider the reverse portion as well, because the last day we were actually doing a sum where you had two roots alpha and beta, and there was a condition that alpha is less than beta. I hope you understand if alpha and beta just interchange amongst each other, so the answer will be always the different thing. Okay, so if you have different kind of options which are a little confusing and very close to each other, you might just make a mistake. So just to be sure, take the other portion as well. Okay, maybe it doesn't matter here, but maybe there can be other sums where it'll be important. Just try this one out. It's pretty simple. Just some assumptions and cross checking. So it's not a very standard quadratic equation that you normally deal with, but just some assumptions so that you can make it quadratic and solve for this. Just use the chat option. Okay, Auditra says it's option 4. All right. Aditya says it's 10, which is actually option 4. Fair enough. Okay. Option 4s, I'm getting a lot. Okay, option 4. All right. Okay. This is not very difficult. So I think I'll just, as you people just try calculating and also use the chat box to give your answer, I'll just partly reveal the solution so that you at least know you are going in the correct direction. All right. I'm seeing another answer. Okay. So this is what I'm starting with. Okay. Simple things here. Now you're just assuming that this mod a minus 2 is y, and this is very important. Clearly, y will be non-negative. Okay, so this is what we'll used. Okay, I used x greater than 0 and took x as 11 and got 0 and simplified the answer. Yeah, you can also do that. You can also use some general methods and tricks that you are doing and also share this, which is great. Okay. So you can also do that, but we are using certain general methods so that you know how to calculate. Otherwise, you can sometimes it's very easy that you just check with the options and eliminate answers. Okay. So simple. We reject y equals to minus 2 as it's mod of something. So you get 1 and 3, so you get the value of x's and just required sum will be 10. That's correctly pointed out by you people. The option is 4 that you are getting. Okay, so I hope this is clear with all of you. Not very different, anything different, just some assumptions so that we can convert the given equation into our general quadratic equation. That's it. All right, so let's move on then. So this is question 12. This is not very difficult. You know what happens when a quadratic equation doesn't have any real root. So you know how this discriminant will come into play. And you have to simplify this one and just figure out how many integral values of m you will have. Here you are just going to see integers, okay? Yash, I'll just go back to the previous slide. Just a moment, okay? Let's just other people see the question. Just write down the equation so that you can calculate the integral values of m where it does not have any real root. Okay, so I'll just quickly go on to the previous slide and you can see what is going on. If you're done seeing this one, just write yes so that I can move on. Otherwise, if you have a problem, just use the chat box. Okay. Okay, I'll just move on then. All right. So this is the question you have here. Just try out this one. Okay, I already have an answer. Ishika said it's infinite. Okay, some more answers. Let me see some more answers, then we can move on. Okay. Very simple thing that we use here. You know what happens when they don't have any real roots. This is very easy. Just try this one out and also remember that n has integral values. So that will also come into play, I'm sure, when you have worked out d. I think that will come into play. So you're mostly saying infinite, which is like the option 3, correct? So I'll just quickly move on to the answer because I think it's pretty simple. The logical explanation is pretty simple, otherwise you'll just have to calculate. Okay, so it has no real solution, so it means that the discriminant is strictly less than 0, and then you'll just work your way out through the inequalities, and see, this is what you get. After simplification, this is what you're going to get. So as you know that this square thing will always be greater than 0. Okay, this cannot be 0 because m is not minus half. So this will do for any positive value of m. Okay, any positive value of m, so you can get infinitely many options. Great, the correct option is 3. So, as correctly pointed out by you people, the answer is option 3. All right. I hope this is okay with you so that I can move on. If you have any doubts, just let me know. This is very simple. Just the condition that they don't have any real roots, making the discriminant absolutely negative, and also just simple inequalities. Okay. I think we'll move on to the next question, which is also very easy. So you have a quadratic equation where 2 minus root 3 is a root. Okay. So you have to see which one of the following options will be true. Just use the fact that you have been provided with a quadratic equation whose one root is 2 minus root 3. Just try and solve this one. Okay. It's not very difficult. Just uses some basic logic and theory that you're already familiar with. Some simple calculations. Just get the calculations right. So these are the kind of sums when you really don't want to miss on the marks. Okay, Mahak is saying that it's option 4. All right, let's just see some more answers. This is very easy. Okay, let's just see some more answers so that we can move on to the solution. Okay, so okay, I'm getting a lot of answers saying option 4. Great. So it's pretty simple. As you know that 2 minus root 3 is a root. So consequently, you will have 2 plus root 3 as another root. So you can just find out the value of P and Q easily. So I've used this method here. Otherwise, you can just plus and just, the product, etc. So you can compare and get the value of P. This is a lengthy method. You can just add and get the product. Okay. So you can check which one is holding true. Not very difficult, just a simple logic that we have used here. So the correct option is option 4. I hope you people have understood it. If you have any problem, just do let me know in the chat portion. How 2 plus root 3? Okay, Auditro, the point is, suppose you have this 2 minus root 3. So there will be like, conjugate surds. Okay, the irrational numbers, they will be conjugate surds. Now, what is given here is P and Q belongs to the set of all real numbers. Okay, this conjugate surds, this only happens when the coefficients are rational. Okay, but again, since you are considering real numbers, so if rational numbers are obviously a subset of the set of all real numbers, so if it doesn't happen for a rational number, it won't happen for real numbers. That's why. Okay. So if you consider any quadratic equation with the coefficients being rational numbers, if you have a root as a plus root b, another root will be a minus root b. Okay. There will be like conjugates. But that happens for complex numbers. No, that happens for complex numbers, as in, see, the point is, if the coefficients are real, then the roots will come in complex pairs. Okay, and this happens, actually this happens if you have the coefficients as rational numbers. Okay, this happens for complex numbers. Now there are certain layers. Okay, whenever you're considering roots of a quadratic equation, they will come in complex pairs, provided this ABC, okay, ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, this ABC are real, then they will be like complex pairs. If these are rational numbers, then they will be like conjugate surds. I hope you understand this one. We have taken here the conjugate surds because, the set of all rational numbers, that is a subcase of real numbers. So if it's not holding for rational numbers, it won't hold for real numbers as well. I hope this is clear with you. Just write yes if you have got this one. Otherwise, I'll just explain again, okay? Is this okay with you? Yeah. So even if you're saying that this is happening for complex numbers, this only happens when the coefficients are real. Suppose I'm taking ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. If a, b, c are real numbers, then the complex, the pairs that you're talking about, the imaginary roots, they will occur in pairs. We have a similar sort of result for, when the coefficients are rational numbers. In that case, if you have irrational roots, they will occur in their conjugates. Okay. I hope this is okay with all of you. If you have any doubt, please do let me know. Or I'll just move on to the next question. Great. So sum of the roots, it has to be the greatest. Then you have to find out the absolute difference of the cubes of its roots. Okay, so suppose you have alpha beta, you're choosing m in such a way that alpha plus beta is the greatest. Now you just find out the value of mod alpha cube minus beta cube. All right, just try this one out. Because as you people were saying that, what if alpha and beta, they're interchanged. As you know, since we are talking about the absolute difference, it's not going to matter. That is why this term is very important. Okay, because alpha plus beta is not changing if alpha and beta are interchanged, or alpha beta, these are actually independent of changes in alpha and beta, mutual changes. So I hope you understand this question. Just give it a try. Nothing difficult. Just use the fact that you know alpha plus beta and alpha beta. I think you can easily figure out the rest. Okay, just do the calculations properly, because logically it's pretty simple. Okay, I'm getting some answers. Okay, so okay, option three, option three. All right. Okay, so just keep on calculating this one. If you have any problems, just let me know. So I think I'm just going to reveal the solution, because it's not very difficult. Just start with the condition that you have been provided with. M is chosen in such a way that the sum is greatest. Okay. So as you can see, the portion involving M is the denominator. It will be greatest when the denominator is least, which will happen for M equals to 0. I hope this is clear with all of you. Now, this is the equation. This is how the equation looks like right now. So you have this alpha beta and alpha plus beta. You can find out what will be alpha minus beta just by taking alpha minus beta whole square equals to alpha plus beta whole square minus 4 alpha beta. Otherwise, I think the rest is pretty simple. So as correctly pointed out by you people, it will be 8 root 5, which is option 3. I hope this is okay with you. If you have any doubts, please use the chat box and let me know. I think it's pretty simple. I'll just move on, because this is the only portion where you have to understand when the roots are greatest. M will be 0, so that you have the changed equation from where you can just work your way out towards the answer. Okay, so let's move on then. All right. So this is question 15. Again, you have quadratic equations, alpha and beta, having being the roots of the quadratic equation that you have been provided here. Just take care of two things. First of all, there's a restriction on theta, okay, which will lie between 0 and pi by 2. And also, you have this expression, the value of the expression, which you are supposed to find out. First of all, as asked by quite a few of you, as you were saying, what will happen if you interchange alpha and beta? Just look at the expression you are supposed to find the value of. You can clearly see that, if you just interchange alpha and beta, this is not going to matter. So it doesn't matter which one is taking as alpha or beta. So you're good to go here. Okay. Just use some simple things and do the calculations correctly. I don't think it's going to be very difficult. Okay. Still, if you have any problem, just let me know. Okay. Just use the chat option and give me your answers if you have figured it out. All right. And seeing an answer from. Okay. So somehow in this particular problem, sorry, I've just missed out on the fact that you're normally provided with the options as 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just A, B, C, D here so that, just don't get confused. Just, yeah. Okay, I'm seeing answers. All of you are saying it's B. All right. I don't think it's very difficult to work out. So simple things that you can figure out from here is what will be alpha plus beta and what will be alpha beta, because whenever you're approaching for solving or kind of evaluating these kind of complex expressions, this alpha beta and alpha plus beta will come into play, because whatever be the expression, you're going to express it in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Some simple manipulation here, we have found out the value of alpha minus beta, and I think correctly pointed out by you people. This is option B, which is actually option 2 here. I'm sorry, I just forgot to change the options there. So, which is B actually. This will be option 2. I hope this is clear with all of you. So, as you can see, that there's a very common trick. Whatever expression you're supposed to evaluate, you have to express that in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha beta, and that will be enough. Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, if you have any doubts, just use the chat box and let me know. All right. So question number 16. I think we are doing way better than the previous day. So I'm just asking you to take care of the time frame. It will be very helpful for you. Okay. In general, you should have an idea how many sums we should solve in a 3 hours class. So let's just try and solve more and more. And every day, last day, we solved around 40 sums. So let's just see, today if we can get better. I think that is very important. As we progress, through these classes, I'm sure we'll be able to manage more and more sums in our class. Okay. Chalo, you have to find out the number of real roots of this equation. Okay. Ishika, you want to see the previous slide? Okay, just a minute. I'm sure you people have just written down the equation that you have here. This is 5 plus mod 2 to the power x minus 1 equals to 2 to the power x into 2 to the power x minus 2. I'll just go to the previous slide. Okay. Okay. Ishika, if you're done seeing this one, just write yes. If you have any problems, do let me know so that I can move on or answer your question if you have any doubts. All right. So let's just move on to this one. You have to find out the number of real roots of this particular equation. Okay, we have already got an answer. Auditor says it's option 2. All right. The value is also 2. Auditor, what are the numbers? Like, what are the solutions you have got? Like the value of x is, okay, it's option 4. So you're saying that it's, okay, so number of roots is 1. All right, let's just see some, okay, option 4. All right. Let's just see some other answers so that we can just quickly move on to the solution here. Deboshmita is saying that it's option 4. All right. Okay. A lot of option 4s I'm seeing. Okay. So all of you who have got option 4, can you just quickly tell me what is the value of x you have got? Okay. All right. So we'll just quickly move on to the solution. I think this is very simple. All right. Let's just see some more answers. Okay. Okay. See, this is what I have assumed here. Okay, 2 to the power x minus 1. Yes, Ritaban, 2 is a root. All right. Only 2, exactly. So this is what we have assumed here. Okay, 2 to the power x minus 1 equals to t. So now this will be the form of the equation in terms of t. As you know that 2 to the power x can be written as t plus 1, whereas 2 to the power minus x can be written as t minus 1. All right. So this is how this equation will look like now. Now we will make two cases here. Okay. The first case is when it's positive. So this is going to happen. All right. So I hope this is clear with all of you. Is there any doubt? So you're just getting one answer, which is x equals to 2. Is this okay with all of you? If you have any doubts, just let me know in the chat box, or I will just move on to the next sum. Yeah, it's x equals to 2. All right. Now you might just ask me why I have taken these two strict portions where someone is like t is strictly greater than 0 or t is strictly less than 0. Even if you take t equals to 0, you can see that, 2 to the power x will be 1. From there, whatever, suppose you are getting x equals to 0, you can see this original thing won't walk there. Okay. Even if you just put the value, you'll just see that 0 won't walk there. So you just get one real value of x, which is 2. So as correctly pointed out by you people, the option 4. So you just have one real root. Okay. So this is option question 17 that you have. Alpha, beta are the roots of this particular equation. So just find out which one of the uh, equations or the relations that you have been provided here with is incorrect. This is very important. So this is a very important thing that you need to understand. This is actually, you're going to find out which one is incorrect. All right. So I hope this is okay. Okay. Sorry. Ishika says it's 1. All right. Okay, let's just see some more answers so that you can. It's a little different from what you have been doing so far. Okay, let's just see some more answers. I think I'll reveal a part of the solution. You people just keep on trying this one, and as you get the answers, just comment in the chat box. So let's quickly see a part of the solution that we have done here. Suppose alpha is the root, as you see. So this is going to satisfy. Okay, Auditro says it's option 3. All right. So let's just see a part of the answer. Then, if you want to change or keep on calculating, go ahead. Okay. All right. Mahek is also saying it's option 3. Okay. So this is what I can write because alpha will satisfy this equation. You have to find out which one is correct. Okay. So I hope this is clear with all of you. We can write how alpha to the power 4 will be. And okay, all of you are saying it's option 3. All right. Let's just see. Okay. Okay. So this is how alpha to the power 5 will look like. All right. So you have alpha to the power 5 and beta to the power 5. You have to find out the incorrect options. I hope this is clear. You have to find out the incorrect options. So this is also this is beta to the power 5. So if you just go for p to the power 5, p5, which is alpha to the power 5 plus beta to the power 5, you will get this one. Now, as you understand that alpha and beta are the roots, so this will be simply P11 will be P5 will be 11. Now, what is P2? That is alpha square plus beta square. From there, you can find out the value of P2 as well as you can find out the value of P3, which is not very difficult. And you will see the option 1 will not be correct. So, for what you have got for option 3, I don't know, maybe option 3 is also incorrect. I just see this portion. I just quickly want to go back to the previous slide and write down just a moment, okay? Just a moment. Let me just see the options you had. P5 equals to P2 into P3. So P3 equals to P5 minus P4. Okay. So I don't know why this option 3 went wrong with you people. Just try and find out what P4 will be so that we can understand where you went wrong. Please go to the solution. Yeah, sure. All right. Just try this one out. If you have any problem, do let me know. What is the value of P4 that you people have got? I think there's something wrong with this. Okay, Mahek, you want to explain? Okay, you want me to explain this one? All right. So as you understand that alpha and beta are the solution of this one. So obviously, if I put alpha in this particular equation, I hope you get the equation will get satisfied. So I can write alpha squared equals to alpha plus 1. So I'm squaring both the sides here. So obviously, I can get alpha to the power 4 equals to alpha square plus 2 alpha plus 1. Now I already know the value of alpha square. Okay. So the value of alpha square is nothing but alpha plus 1. from there I can just clearly figure out how this will look like. All right, I hope this is okay. We have just changed this alpha square as alpha plus 1. So this is 3 alpha plus 2. Now, if I just go for alpha to the power 5, I'm just suppose starting with the first option. All right. So I hope, okay, great. So I hope this is okay with all of you. I don't know why the other options, just you have to also check out, which one is also incorrect. Just 1 minute. Okay. I think which one is incorrect. The first one is automatically incorrect that I have found out. Now, I don't know. You can also work with the different examples or the different options that you have been provided with and see whether the others are incorrect or not. So anyway, I think we'll move on then. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, you have any problems? How would you get alpha to the power 5? Okay, Auditro, just a moment, okay? Just a moment. See, I already got just erase this one. I already got alpha to the power 4 here as 3 alpha plus 2. So for alpha to the power 5, I have just multiplied it by alpha. So the first one is 3 alpha square and the second one is 2 alpha. Now already I know the value of alpha squared, which is alpha plus 1. So that's what I have just done here. Okay. I hope this is okay. If you have understood this alpha to the power 5, just write yes so that I can move on. All right. Just see the rest of the solutions. I think it will be clear to you. All right. Okay. So the option one is it's clearly visible that it's incorrect. Hope this is okay. Now, this is very easy. Let's quickly find this one out so that we can save some time here. And okay, value of P4 equals to, yeah. Okay. Yes, the point is I also worked out P4 and it just came out to be 7. So I thought I made any mistakes. I think there are certain options which are incorrect as well. So yeah, I don't know. Probably the question has some ambiguity because I have also worked P4 and it has come out to be 7. So the third option was actually P3 equals to P4 minus P5, P5 minus P4. I don't know. Yeah, probably the other options are wrong as well. But see, even if the question is incorrect, it doesn't matter. I hope you know how you can easily solve for the, definitely the different portions, the higher orders. Aditya says, no, it's correct. But I also got P4 equals to 7. So yeah, maybe there's something ambiguous in the question, but it doesn't really matter. I hope you understand how you can go for this alpha to the power 5, 7, etc. You will see a very distinct pattern in all of these things. So working with the higher powers will be easier. Okay. So I hope this is okay with you. Just try this one out. This number 18. I think compared to the previous class, we are going at a much better, pace today. So let's just every time let's just put some targets in front of ourselves and see, how many chapters we are doing here, so that we just stick to the time frame. Ishika says it's 8. Okay, Ishika. Let me see some more answers. Then we'll just talk. Okay. Okay. I'm getting a few answers here saying it's 8. I think the previous question was a little ambiguous. You can have actually more than one incorrect options from the previous one. I just, as Yash, you pointed out, I also got P4 equals to 7, but it's okay. I hope we have understood what we can do in those kind of things. Mehak is saying it's -4. Okay, Mehak, it's supposed to be in Z plus. So this is something I'm going to just tell you here. This is very important. Okay. So these are the kind of portions where you can, yes, yeah. So these are the kind of portions where you can go wrong. All right. So it's okay. It's cool even if you make mistakes and that's how you learn. So it's perfectly all right. Okay. So these are the portions where you have to be a little careful. This particular, yeah. So I think all of you have figured out the answer. It's not very difficult. Okay. All right. This is what you have here. D is greater than equals to 0 because it has real roots. So obviously you will get a restriction on A. Now, as you understand that, it will be having a positive integral value. That is very important. So the answer is 8, as correctly pointed out by you people. The answer is going to be 8. Okay, great. So I hope it's okay with you. So I'll just quickly move on to the next question then. All right. Now this is also good, as we have already talked about this 2 to the power x thing and all, how we transfer that into a quadratic equation, and saw how the roots will be. Just said that there will be just one root, which is x equals to 2. So you will have a similar thing here. You have to find out the solution set of this one, and actually the cardinality of the solution set, which means that how many real solutions you are going to get. Just try this one out. You know how to just transfer this into quadratic equations or any simpler equations to deal with. It is having some modular signs, so you will have different cases, and just see how you can work this out for different cases. Just take anything, any assumption like 3 to the power x equals to t, or anything anything other than x, just then, so that you have a simpler equation to deal with, and just see some different cases and how you can understand how many elements you will have here in the solution set. All right. I hope you have just written down the equation that you have been provided with. I'll quickly go to the solution and partly reveal the solution actually. I'm sure up to that portion you people have already figured out, and then probably making some sub cases. So I'm sure you have got up to this portion, and try and work the rest of the way. Okay, Auditro says it's option 1. All right, Auditro, which is a singleton set. Okay. Auditor, what method have you used? Like the general, you define this into different cases, or any other tricks, anything that you have used? Or just simple, just breaking up into different cases and just solving them individually? Can you let me know what you have used? Okay. You're breaking it up into different cases. Okay, let me see some more answers. And okay. Mahak, you also let me know what technique you have used here, because we are already we are normally looking forward to some tricks where we can save some time, so that we take care of the time frame that is a big issue. All right. Yeah, it's right, it'll be actually option 1. It'll be a singleton set, so it's actually right. This is right. You can break it up into portions. But what we have done here is, see, you can what you can do is, as you see this portion. So basically, what I did was substitute 3 to the power x as y. Yeah, see, that is what we are talking about. Just some simple substitution, so that you can bring it down to simpler quadratic equation. Now what you can do is you can make different cases here. Okay, you can make different cases here. If you note this, mod t minus 1, the critical point here is 1. In one side of 1, t minus 1 will behave as positive, whereas in the other side it will it will just become negative. Okay, similarly 2 is also a critical point. So if you want to break it up into pieces, you will make three cases: one where it is less than 1, another where it's between 1 and 2, and for the next part where it is greater than 2. But here we have actually used the graphical portion. Okay, I'm used the graphical method here. I'm sure you can walk out what this will be. This t square minus t plus 2 will actually be a parabola. Okay, it will be a parabola, it will be an upward parabola. And the vertex, you can just figure out how this will be. The vertex will be at half comma 7 by 4, and it will be an upward parabola. And also you know how to draw the graph of this one. You will definitely have this sharp bends at 1 and 2, and you can see that this will intersect for positive values. Obviously it's going to intersect at just one point, so you just get one simple solution. All right, you can always break it up into pieces, or here we have just used the graphical method. It's all the same. At the end of the day, it's about just getting the correct option. But most of the times we also thought about saving certain times, so this is going to save you a lot of times here. I hope you understand. As correctly pointed out by you, it's option one. So you'll basically get a singleton set. Are you okay with this one? Is there anything that you want me to explain? Do use the chat box if you have any problems. We have used a simpler method here. Otherwise, you can always break it up into three pieces. This will actually have one portion where t is strictly less than 1 between 1 and 2, another is greater than 2. I hope this is okay with all of you. So I think we'll quickly move on to the next question and see. Okay, what is the value of the element? Yeah, see, if you have a positive solution, so okay, so as you can see that for different cases, you can find out what will be the value of t. So 3 to the power x will be that particular value, and then you can just simply take log. All right, okay, root 5. Ritaban, I didn't know where you get this root 5 from. Probably you solved all these things. I have not done the solution differently, but whatever be the value, I'm sure you have got this positive value of t that you have got here. So that positive value of suppose t, we have taken it here as a. Okay, suppose I'm just saying that if you just look at the graph, you just get one value. All right, so that can be any value. If you just solve this one out, you can get the answers. Okay, I have not solved it here. I've just said that you will just get one value, which will be 3 to the power x, and then you just can take log. And yes, as you have correctly pointed out, the value actually doesn't matter. Okay, Mehak, you want to, okay. Mehak, what you can do is, suppose you take a parabola. All right. So now look at the equation. Now look at the LHS of the equation. That is actually representing a quadratic expression. Suppose I'm taking y equals to t square minus t plus 2. This will be a parabola. All right. You can work this one out. You can just write this one as t minus half whole square plus 7 by 4. From there, if you just change sides, you can understand that it's an upward parabola having its vertex at half comma 7 by 4. So that is a parabola. Now if you look at the RHS of this particular equation, you will see two modular signs here. So this graph will have two critical points, 1 and 2. Okay, I'm sure you have got it. Okay, no issue. So if you just draw the graphs individually, you can understand where it will intersect, will give you the value of t, what you are actually looking forward to. I hope this is okay with all of you. This is a quicker method. Otherwise, the methods you have used, I'm sure, for breaking it up into pieces, it's perfectly all right. But here we are more concerned with the number of solutions you will get, not the solutions that you need here. So I really don't care whether it's root 5, root 2, root 3, doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay, I hope this is clear with all of you. All right. So I'll just move on to the next portion then. Mehak, you have asked me for t less than 1. See, for t less than 1, what happens is t minus 1 is, okay, what happens for t less than 1? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, that's okay. So I'll just move on to the next question then. I hope you don't have any problem. Otherwise, you can always let me know. Even if we just move on to the next portion, you can always let me know to come back. Okay? Chalo. So, question 20. We're just quickly going towards the end of this. We have 21 questions here. Let's just tie and stick to a time frame so that we can at least complete a couple of chapters today, because we are a little lagging behind the normal schedule that's been put up in the website. So let's just try and walk this one out. You have been provided with an equation here, all the powers of e to the power x, etc. So you have to find out the number of real roots of this equation. Okay. So just like the previous one, whenever we are talking about number of real roots, it doesn't really matter. All right. You don't really need to find out the roots, just find out the number of roots. While doing that, if you find out a root, that is perfectly all right. Otherwise, for graphical methods, you really exactly don't know the solution, but you can always find out the number of solutions where the graphs are intersecting each other. Okay, just try this one out and let me know in the options, chat box, sorry. All right, Ishika says it's option 1, which is like there are one real root, there's one real root, sorry. Okay, Ritaban says it x equals to 0, right? X equals to 0 is a solution which is pretty visible here. See, x equals to 0 is actually a solution which is pretty much visible, but that does not ensure that there's no other, solutions, etc. So see, that is the thing you have to be a little careful about. Maybe x equals to 0 is the only solution, maybe option 1 is correct, but yeah, actually, see, what happens is, suppose you have got 4 roots. Okay, suppose you have got, by observation you have got 4 different roots which are satisfying the equation. Okay, and you have options 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know that all of the options are less than 4, so you cannot go wrong. But whenever you get x equals to 0, you have to check whether in other cases you're getting any answers or not. Okay, so maybe that's why you just go for a general method. All right. You also got x equals to 0. Okay. All right. Yeah, x equals to 0 is definitely a solution. And also, when I reveal the solution, you will see that probably this is the only solution. But just by observation, especially when you have the other options, which are all greater than 4, sorry, greater than 1. So obviously, you cannot be sure just by looking at the options. All right, I think I'll just reveal a part of the solution so that you can see how to proceed. As you see that all of them are involving different powers of x, what I have done here is I have just used this e to the power x as t. So this is how the equation will look like right now. This is how the equation will be. Now you can solve for t in any other methods, but I have used a trick here. Just divide this by t square. Okay. Now some quick adjustments. All right. Okay. So some quick adjustments. So this is what we have taken here. So this will be alpha square minus 2, because this t square plus 1 by t square is nothing but t plus 1 by t whole square minus 2 into t into 1 by t. So that's how you get alpha square minus 2. Just simple. Minus 3 and minus 2, obviously it is 3 to the e to the power x. So we are definitely not taking minus 3. So this is what we are taking, and this will actually give you a clue that x equals to 0 is the only solution. Okay, so maybe see whatever you just got from your normal observations, that is perfectly all right. But since the other options involve like more and more number of real solutions, you might be a little frightened about, whether you're losing some solutions or not. Okay, I hope this is clear with all of you. As correctly pointed out, option one is the answer. Okay, quickly move on to the next question then. Okay, if you have any doubts, do let me know. If you break the meta, Mehak, you can do anything. Okay, it doesn't really matter, into -2 and -2. You can also do that. Okay, you can use any method for solving. Just makes your, yeah, you can also do that. That is perfectly all right. Okay, any easier method of solving is definitely better. So I'll just quickly move on to the next sum then. This is actually the last sum in this chapter. So let's quickly work this one out so that we can take a break and come back for the next chapter. Okay, it's very simple. You have an equation which is having both of its root as alpha, and another equation having alpha and beta. You have to find out the value of alpha square plus beta square. Nothing much logically. Again, just be patient with the calculation. I'm sure you are going to get the answers. Okay, just take some time and just, yeah, answer this one. All right. So the first one has a repeated root alpha, and the second one has alpha and beta. You have to find out the value of alpha square plus beta square. All right. This simple calculations. Just be patient, and yeah, I think that will do. Nothing much. Okay, Ishika says it's option two, which is 25. All right, Ritoban is also saying it's option two. Great. Let's just see some more answers. It's very simple, nothing much to worry about logically. Just do your calculations, right? Okay. Okay, I've seen one more answer from Aditya. He's saying it's 25, which is okay, option two. All right. Some simple, absolutely simple calculations. Just be patient. Okay. See, most of the times you will see that the logical explanations or the theoretical paths that you need for this particular sum, it's not very difficult. You just have to be, yeah, okay with your calculations. Great. So all of you are saying it's option two. So I'll just quickly go to the solution. It's not difficult. So this is the first thing we have, okay? Alpha is a repeated root, as you can clearly see. 2 alpha will be 2b by a, and also alpha square will be 5 by a. From there, you will actually get a relation between a and b. And from the second equation, you have the sum of roots as well as the product of roots, okay? Now what you need is alpha square plus beta square. Okay, but because at the end of the day you are going to use this b and a, all these things. Okay, so I think that is very important. So this is also a root of this particular equation. So from there you will get some values of a and b. Now you can clearly see what is this alpha square plus beta square. You use these values and consequently get the value of alpha square plus beta square. I hope this is okay with all of you. Just simple calculations. You got it right, all of you. You are just saying option two, which is 25. Great.